Welcome back to another episode of Black Health. I am your host, Dr. Michelle Kirwan Bythwood, board certified pediatrician. Today, we're diving into a topic that sits at the heart of many families, but often isn't spoken about. Black women are the backbone, the nurturers, the leaders, the lifeline, but being the strong one can come with a cost. Caregiver burnout and leadership, the hidden strength of the Black female caregiver. That is what we are talking about today. And today we have Dr. LaToya Lewis with us to discuss caregiver burnout. Dr. Lewis is a nationally recognized nursing professor, award-winning speaker, a leading advocate for healthcare equity and end-of-life dignity. She serves as the associate professor of the clinical at the University of Miami School of Nursing and Health Studies. She stands at the intersection of medicine, culture, and soul-centered leadership. I love that soul-centered leadership. We're going to get into that a little bit later today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Lewis. Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
I'm excited to get into this topic, and we're going to just dive right in. When you talk about caregiver burnout, especially among Black women, what exactly are you talking about? How would you define that experience beyond the clinical sense of it?
So I would like to say caregiver burnout is deeper than just fight or flight mode or a stressful event. It is consistent exposure to stressful care that you are constantly just emptying yourself to provide and put the priority of somebody else ahead of your own on a consistent basis. So essentially what's happening with burnout is I like to describe it as you're slowly collapsing inside until we get a magical warning signal that, we need to step back. So the challenge that we have in the Black community is that we inherit this responsibility, and essentially it's spoken and unspoken rules at the same time. And that then puts individuals at a really challenging place because you don't really want to speak up, because then you're told, oh yeah, you can do that. And then you don't want to then be quiet because it's affecting you inside. So those are the things that I describe as caregiver burnout.
What opened your eyes to this issue? Was there a personal moment or professional moment?
So there were two moments. So first came the professional moment. In my previous role as a nurse leader in the ICU, I kept seeing individuals of different underrepresented communities just coming in and giving, I like to say, the acting smile. Oh, everything's fine. Yes, I'm good. Okay, yes, I'm here for my loved one. And then you see when everyone turns away, you see the shoulders go down and you see a change because the performance period ended. I don't know if some people could see that, but that's what I saw. So whether it was an end of life case, a patient who was just very critically ill, the loved ones were some of the people that I was observing that you can see that psychological toll without them even verbalizing it. That you could see if you ask them, all of a sudden they're pouring their heart out and saying, oh, this is happening and I'm worried about this and I have to go to work and I called out again. And so, but unless somebody asked or probed, everybody will just keep going, right?
So I like to see the floodgate opens. When you ask that floodgate opens.
Completely, because a lot of times when we're communicating with people, we listen to respond and not listen to understand. So we're like, oh, interjecting. But that's where it really hit me, because I kept seeing that day to day, multiple people experiencing that. The second time where it, like, the light bulb actually stayed on was because I'm one of those caregivers who are achieving professional goals, but you have young children who need your support, as well as I have an older mom who has heart issues. So, sometimes you're trying to make sure that everybody's good. And then you feel like, oh, it's Saturday and I don't want to get up. I want to sleep all day. So some of those things, unless you were in tuned, you would just think I'm just tired. But if you don't ground and settle yourself, that can really hit to a burnout level. So they're told to keep it silent. So I do feel that it impacts Black women differently, because some Black women are the sole head of households. or some Black women are the caretakers if they're not the sole head of household. So it does affect, because of culture and inherent history, it does affect Black women differently because they're expected to be the strong ones. It's just an underlying expectation.
So the strength of Black women is celebrated, but the cost of that strength is rarely acknowledged. What is that cost?
So that cost can fluctuate through a couple of things. There can be a cost of emotional costs, which we like to say it's, we can't really pinpoint that exactly. So emotional costs of being psychologically, yes. Emotional costs of, because in certain communities, the stigma of not seeking mental health support to help balance, that is a cost. Next, if we go health-wise, we can see cortisol levels are high in Black women caregivers. And there's some research that's still looking into that right now. And what that results in, because of all the stress, that causes increased stress. And then that makes them more at risk to inflammation, other autoimmune illnesses. And we already know within the Black community, there are certain illnesses that we're already at risk for getting. And this is like, I like to explain to people, if you're on a treadmill, you already know you're at risk, but okay, you're adding stress, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not getting sleep. We are moving like a 8.0 on a treadmill compared to 2.0 on a treadmill, because all of these factors together are impeding. Then next, that can also take a toll with sleep. We know sleep is a part of recovery. The less sleep that you get, the less opportunity you have. And I see you nodding your head too. It's healing. It's healing. But there are some women that who are caregivers, are only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep. No way, shape, or form are they getting appropriate rest, right? Yeah. And then the other aspect is financial. There are Black caregivers and other caregivers who, because of their financial responsibility, are missing work because they're trying to care for others. They're also trying to have their goals in life, but they're also burning the candle at both ends because they're pursuing goals which will help their family. But then they're also saying, when I come home, it's my second or third job is to care for my family. So, you want to say, can someone really focus on multiple things at the same time without replenishing yourself? So those are some things that I would say. And I see you're nodding.
Yes, and I want to come back to that issue that you raised about autoimmunity, but we do need to take a quick break. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're watching Black Health. Don't go anywhere. We're with Dr. LaToya Lewis, and we're talking about caregiver burnout. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the City of Miami Gardens, where purpose meets opportunity. From building tomorrow's infrastructure, to answering the call when it matters most, to creating vibrant spaces and smart growth, every role counts. With 4-day work weeks, 100% paid health benefits, generous PTO, and a Florida pension plan, the City of Miami Gardens puts you first. Join the team that's shaping the future.
I'm Eileen Higgins, and I'm running to serve as your next Miami mayor, but with a clear plan. Invest in more housing so that residents can afford to live here. Strengthen public safety so residents and visitors feel safe. Clean up our parks so families have green spaces to enjoy. And restore transparency so people can trust their government. As your mayor, we'll get things done. Miami, this is our time.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman & Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family, our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters, because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. Demesman and Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
In 2018, Eileen Higgins took on political insiders and won, and she got to work building thousands of affordable housing units, protecting Biscayne Bay and empowering small businesses. At the same time, Emilio Gonzalez was accused of fraud, protected the political insiders, and allowed city departments to be weaponized against local businesses, and was forced to resign in disgrace. On December 9th, we will deliver change with Eileen Higgins as our next mayor. She'll get things done. Vote Eileen Higgins for mayor.
Welcome back. You're watching Black Health. We are with Dr. LaToya Lewis. We're talking about caregiver burnout. And I wanted to double back to something that you said, Dr. Lewis. You spoke about autoimmunity. And I think it's very important to point that out. And I did not know that, even as a doctor. That is not something that was in my mind. And I have come to the point of burnout several times in my career, actually. And, I'll share with the audience that I started to develop autoimmunity from, I believe it was from the stress and the burnout. And I'm reeling it all back in now, working with a functional medicine doctor, actually, as well as Western medicine trained physicians. But, I started to pay that price, and I have autoimmunity in my family history. And so seeing the beginnings of that, I said, I had to back that up really quickly. And so, it obviously preventive medicine is the way to go, prevent the burnout, and then you don't have to be backtracking, right? So that I'm so glad that you pointed out about autoimmunity. I think that is something people don't, it's not tangible. They don't really think it'll happen to them, and it sneaks up on you. You don't even see it coming. You don't.
It really does. It really does. I like to say that, it's the ghost that may present itself to scare you, because essentially what happens, similar to what you just explained, the person says, I'm having these symptoms, I won't worry about it. It's just a day. And then they see them building up. Yes. And then now you actually go and you hear something about a diagnosis, or, you're getting close to the line. And then it scares us to then say, okay, no. I really, I pushed myself to the limit. Let me step back. And unfortunately, that's how it happens. Like, for example, some people may end up with alopecia areata. One of my friends who's a dermatologist told me that she's seeing it happen more. And that's an autoimmune related element. There are some individuals getting some issues with their health that rheumatology is bringing up. One of my other colleagues brought up because of an autoimmune related response. And some patients, she said, yes, there's a history of, and other patients, there's no history. It's just your body is only able to go to a certain level until it says, okay, I need a reset. And that's this whole process, is that we have to reset. And hopefully, the people that are listening to this will understand that we're not trying to say this is going to happen to you, but you're just running faster on that treadmill, making yourself more at risk for it,
Yeah. Why should the healthcare system view caregiver burnout as an equity issue and not just a personal issue, personal struggle?
Because I'd like to say with caregiver burnout, it's a public health issue. It's an equity issue, because these caregivers are our invisible patients. The system depends on, essentially, we have a healthcare system which focuses on diagnostics, right? And we're hoping that preventative care happens more frequently, but we know there are factors related to that. But essentially, the system is built to diagnose you, to care for you during this acute episode. And then where are we discharging you to? Your loved one, your spouse, your adult children, your neighbor, depending on your issue. And that is essentially unpaid labor, right? Yeah. So that person is now taking on this physical toll, emotional toll. And now this person is becoming the leader at home to provide continuous care for that patient. But we're never effectively giving that caregiver the resources to stay well while they're caring for somebody else. So what we see is that health equity, there are disparities regarding that right now. But that then continues to put a burden on the family health system. And then look and see how the caregiver is treated when they're actually trying to advocate for their loved one. There's also a disparity that's happening that. So overall, it's a multiple factor health equity issue.
You teach and speak about soul-centered leadership. What is that, and how does it transform how Black women lead and care for others? Because Black women are not just caregivers; many are leaders in their place of business, which is another a source of the burnout. So, what is soul-centered leadership?
Soul-centered leadership really focuses on restoring the people who restore the world. And we know that, and I that's my quick way of saying it. But I focus on teaching, supporting nursing students, of course, who are my primary group, but then professionals, mothers, caregivers, leaders who serve in a place that doesn't necessarily uplift, but it can drain your spirit. And this can be unintentional draining of spirit, right? For example, I love the career that I picked. I love the trajectory, but someone else who's doing the same thing that they love, they may feel burnt out and tired, and then their spirit is drained. And you can see these things. And then when there are different workplaces that don't support the caregiver as well as the individual pursuing their career at the same time, there's always, a mindset at times. I've not experienced this component, but from talking to individuals, there are a component at time that, oh, you have someone you're caring for, so we won't offer you that promotion. You have children, so maybe you're not seeking to, move up the corporate ladder right now. Let's wait till your children are in their teens or out of the house. And what ends up happening is we're leading more with an element of if that person has the mental capacity to move compared to what that person's needs to be supported in order for them to continue to pursue their goals. So I feel that it's just helping to restore those people, and that will help support others. Yeah. So just really building upon each other.
I love that. Say it one more time. Restoring the people who are
restoring the people who restore the world.
Restore the world. I love that. I'm going to use that somewhere. So what would it look like if workplaces embraced soul-centered leadership principles? How would leaders show up differently for caregivers that are on their teams?
So leaders will show up differently because they're able to actually reset when they come to work compared to immediately performing. What does that look like? There are many countries, I'm originally from Trinidad, but there are other countries that focus on a caregiver balance framework, which incorporates flexible time of coming to work. It incorporates group work to achieve different tasks, not always a linear one individual. When it comes to healthcare, it's looked as a group. So instead of saying, this is your oldest daughter, she's going to provide her mother with care, let's see anybody else in the family that can take turns, and let's already build that system in. In the workplace, it also focuses on doing check-ins. And the check-ins aren't only performance-based for our roles and our jobs, but the check-ins are also emotional-based. So I notice you haven't taken a vacation in the last year. And I know you're caring for others. You don't have to get personal, but you want to give that person an opportunity to possibly say, yeah, I'm on the hamster wheel. I probably should take some time, right? Yeah. And it's not an aspect of reducing your responsibilities, but we do know that even a Friday off can give you a little bit of a reset. And it doesn't have to be very big. So I would say incorporating a holistic environment, and each organization looks different. And An opportunity that we really need to dive into are the Black women entrepreneurs who
Mhm.
are carrying their businesses, carrying that empire,
Yeah.
and carrying it at home. So they don't really have someone to say, "Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
don't expand your business this year. Have somebody else do it another year." So those solo entrepreneurs are also at risk.
Mhm. That is true. I didn't think about it from the entrepreneurial aspect, but yeah, they're having to fully carry their business and kill what they eat, so to speak. So, Dr. Lewis, we do need to take a quick commercial break, pay some bills. We will be right back. You are watching Black Health. We are talking about caregiver burnout with Dr. LaToya Lewis. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the City of Miami Gardens, where purpose meets opportunity. From building tomorrow's infrastructure to answering the call when it matters most, to creating vibrant spaces and smart growth, every role counts. With 4-day work weeks, 100% paid health benefits, generous PTO, and a Florida pension plan, the City of Miami Gardens puts you first. Join the team that's shaping the future.
I'm Eileen Higgins, and I'm running to serve as your next Miami mayor, but with a clear plan. Invest in more housing so that residents can afford to live here. Strengthen public safety so residents and visitors feel safe. Clean up our parks so families have green spaces to enjoy. And restore transparency so people can trust their government. As your mayor, we'll get things done. Miami, this is our time.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal.
For the Mesman and Dover Law Firm, it's about community.
For us, South Florida's our home. You all are our people.
Our family, our future.
The difference we'll make for you, your loved ones, your kids, matters, because to us, it's personal.
If you need us, call us 24/7 at 866-954-MORE.
That's 866-954-6673. The Mesman and Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com.
In 2018, Eileen Higgins took on political insiders and won, and she got to work building thousands of affordable housing units, protecting Biscayne Bay and empowering small businesses. At the same time, Emilio Gonzalez was accused of fraud, protected the political insiders, and allowed city departments to be weaponized against local businesses, and was forced to resign in disgrace. On December 9th, we will deliver change with Eileen Higgins as our next mayor. She'll get things done. Vote Eileen Higgins for mayor.
Welcome back. You're watching Black Health. We are with Dr. LaToya Lewis today, and we are talking about caregiver burnout. Dr. Lewis, if you could give caregivers one immediate, tangible support, what would that be?
I would definitely say to take some time to pause and say what they really need in their life right now. What is a low-hanging fruit that you need? Do you need someone to just, if you're caring for a loved one, do you need someone to just come a couple of hours a week to help you? Because there's respite care available. Do you need to be able to come home and not have to immediately start a task? So do we need to rearrange how things are flowing, if possible? I also want to say that rest is not a luxury. It is not. Rest is really medicine, and we need to shift our views on what rest is, because there are certain things that caregivers, especially Black women, may feel that, okay, I'm the superwoman, I can take care of everything, I don't need help. I don't. And then the next step is, oh my gosh, I did all of these things and I have not gone to my physical doctor appointment this year. I've not gone to the dentist this year.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I just took a walk. So all of these things, I want people to really dial in and tap into yourself and sit with yourself at any point in time, it can vary, and see what you really need, because your body's talking to you and you need to listen.
What should families know about supporting the caregiver in their home?
I would say that family members are usually the first people to see things. So I would like to say to family members that caregiver burnout might not be somebody vocally saying something to you. Look at it like an emotional thermostat. So you're talking to your loved one and they're the caregiver, and all of a sudden now they're snapping at you more. They're reactive at you more. They're like, leave me alone. Or they may be more dismissive or not as patient. That's our emotional thermostat. Think of it going from 68 to 78. All of a sudden you're at 108 and you're saying, that's not like you. Are you okay? That's the emotional thermostat I want family members to pay attention to. And families need to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
What we do need to end, but I wanted to ask you just 30-second, what does healing look like for that caregiver who spent years pouring from an empty cup?
You deserve to be human. Being the hero is no longer serving you. It is not serving your soul. It is not serving your body. It's not serving your mental health. It is now time for you to heal from the inside.
Strength is powerful, but strength without support is sacrifice, right?
Correct.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Lewis, for joining us today. I feel like that flew by. There's so many more things that I wanted to talk about, so we may have to have you back again. But thank you for all that you are doing out in the world today for caregivers, and for all that you do and have done as a nurse. And thank you also, of course, for being on Black Health today. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And I hope this resonates with some of the viewers.
I think it will. It resonated a lot with me, and I'm not completely a caregiver. My parents are aging, and we provide a lot of care. Fortunately, they're pretty self-sufficient. But even just the burnout, I think that resonates with a lot of people who even aren't caregivers. So thank you. Thank you for today. And thank you for those of you that are watching and supporting Black Health. We will see you next time. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.